Dear listeners, before we get started, drop a quick hi in the comments and let us know where you're tuning in from. Also, if you have any suggestions for us to make the channel better, please let us know. Now let's start with the story. I'm Sebastian, 31, work in construction management for a pretty big company in the city. Make decent money, own my house outright, drive a newer truck, got a solid credit score, floss daily, the whole responsible adult starter pack. Basically, I've got my life together, or at least I did. Been with Scarlett, 28, female, Instagram addicted, going on 3 years. She used to sell multi-million-dollar homes to people who think marble countertops are a personality trait. That is, until she decided 2 weeks before our wedding to quit her job and focus on being a bride. Because apparently walking down an aisle once requires a full-time commitment and possibly a master's degree in Pinterest. My sister Valentina? She's been side-eyeing Scarlett since day one. Said she was always on her phone, always going out with the girls, and had the kind of vibe that screams, I rehearse my arguments in the mirror. Jackson, my best man, figured it was just wedding stress. Because nothing says, just nervous, like coming home at 3 a.m. reeking of tequila and bad decisions. When I asked her about it, she called me controlling. Yes, me. Mr. I do my own laundry and keep 3 kinds of hummus in the fridge. We had this big fight, classic pre-wedding meltdown, where she threw out, maybe we should postpone the wedding. And like a total idiot, I apologized. Because I'm a man, and I was raised on rom-coms and guilt. Wedding day rolls around. I wake up at 8 a.m. feeling like this might still turn out okay. My mom calls in full meltdown mode about some last-minute flower crisis. Something about dahlias being replaced with carnations. Honestly, I couldn't care less if we used weeds from the highway median, but I say, don't worry, Mom, it's going to be fine, because I'm a liar and a coward. Around 1 p.m., Jackson and the groomsmen show up. We crack a few beers, talk smack, tie ties. All good. Then the music hits. That dramatic wedding march. Everyone turns to the back. There she is, Scarlett, in a white dress that probably cost more than my first car, looking like every bridal Pinterest board threw up and made perfection. Her dad's walking her down the aisle like he's giving away a national treasure. He shakes my hand like he's transferring ownership of a purebred golden retriever, then kisses her cheek and steps back. So now it's me and Scarlett, holding hands at the altar. The pastor starts, Dearly beloved, you have come together into the house of the church so that in the presence of the church's minister and the community, your intention to enter into marriage may be strengthened by the Lord with a sacred sea. He then launches into his TED Talk on love and commitment. I'm standing there, nodding like a bobblehead, already picturing Bali, bigger house, maybe a kid named Max will hate soccer but love dinosaurs. Life stuff. Then the priest gets to the formal part. The declaration of intent. Fancy words for, you two are still on board, right? He looks at me. Sebastian, do you come here of your own free will to marry Scarlett? I nod. I do. I even smile, because at this point I'm still naively optimistic and 3 cups of hotel coffee deep. He turns to her. Scarlett, do you come here of your own free will to marry Sebastian? She nods too, says, yes. Smiles just enough to keep the illusion going. Everyone exhales a little. For a second, I think, hey, maybe Valentina and her conspiracy theories were just dramatic after all. Then the priest clears his throat and hits us with the next part. Is there anyone here who knows of any just cause or lawful impediment why these two should not be joined together in holy matrimony? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Cue dramatic pause. Classic movie moment, right? Everyone looks around, half hoping Aunt Cheryl doesn't stand up to make it about herself again. And then it happens. The back doors of the church fly open with just enough flair to qualify as theatrical. In walks this guy in a dark suit, like he's auditioning for The Bachelor, Wedding Crasher edition. I recognize him immediately. Grayson, Scarlett's ex from college. The one with the guitar and the man bun who used to write poetry about the moon's emotional labor. That guy. What the actual hell is he doing here? I never sent him an invite. I even checked the guest list myself, twice. But here he is, strutting down the aisle like he paid for the cake. Doesn't give a damn that he's interrupting a sacred ceremony. Nope. He's walking like he's got a mission. Like he should be the one in the tux, not me. The pianist stops mid-chord. People start whispering like we're in the middle of a live soap opera. The priest just stands there with his mouth open, possibly wondering if he's getting punked. I'm still holding Scarlett's hands, but suddenly, it feels like I'm gripping a mannequin. She's stiff, eyes wide. Grayson strolls right up to the altar, all confidence and cologne. He looks at me, barely, then shifts his gaze to Scarlett. And then, because this disaster needed a cherry on top, he says it. Scarlett, I know you still love me. Cue internal screaming. Scarlett blinks. Grayson, She whispers like we've all been dropped into a Hallmark movie written by drunk interns. He goes on, unfazed. The night we had 3 days ago was amazing. Only a real man like me can keep a woman like you satisfied. So, drop that fool and come with me. 3 days ago. My brain does the math. That was the night she came home at 3 a.m., looking like she'd fought a raccoon for parking. The whole place goes dead silent. I swear you could hear someone's pacemaker skip. I look around like maybe there's a hidden camera crew somewhere. Then I look at Scarlett. And she's crying. But not the I'm so touched kind of tears. Nope. These are the I just got caught on CCTV stealing from Target kind of tears. She turns to me. Her eyes meet mine. And then, Sebastian, she says, voice cracking. I'm sorry. I can't do this. Just like that. She drops my hands, drops her bouquet, and runs. Full sprint. Wedding dress flying behind her like she's trying to catch a flight. Down the aisle, toward Grayson. Like she's in a Nicholas Sparks movie. One of the bad ones. He smirks. Of course he smirks. And follows her out the back doors, and they're gone. I'm standing there at the altar in my tux, holding her damn bouquet because it hit me in the chest when she dropped it. Like an insult with floral undertones. 200 people staring at me like I'm the entertainment. Like I'm about to break into a Shakespearean monologue about betrayal and heartbreak. My mom's sobbing into a tissue that she definitely expected to use for happy tears. My dad's got that look, you know the one. Like he's deciding whether to go full Liam Neeson or just torch the place. Scarlett's family? Oh, they're a whole painting. A still life of awkward regret. Her mom's got both hands over her face like she's trying to disappear into her own skin. Her dad's just staring at the floor like if he focuses hard enough, he might fall into a different dimension. And Victoria, maid of honor, Scarlett's sister, is standing next to me in that eye-searing purple dress, looking like she's about 3 seconds away from projectile vomiting on the flower girl. The pastor clears his throat and mumbles something about how sometimes life takes unexpected turns, which might be the understatement of the year. He's clearly stalling, trying to wrap up the ceremony that wasn't with some philosophical mumbo-jumbo, but I'm not listening. I'm just staring at those back doors, hoping they'll swing open again, and someone will yell, just kidding. It's a flash mob. But nope. The doors stay shut. And I'm still standing there with a bouquet I didn't ask for and a tux I suddenly hate. My brain isn't even working right. It keeps spinning through denial like a broken slot machine. This is a prank. A bad dream. I'll wake up soon and Scarlett will be next to me in bed, scrolling through her phone, complaining about how the florist got the ribbon shade wrong. You ever had those dreams where you walk around the city and then realize that you have no pants on, and then keep running just trying to hide somewhere? Yep, this is that feeling that I had right at that moment. But the only difference. Right now, I am fully conscious and awake. Unfortunately. Then Jackson walks up behind me and puts a hand on my shoulder. Dude, what was that? He whispers. And I mean whispers, but it's so deathly quiet in the church that I'm pretty sure people in the back row heard it loud and clear. Someone even gasped. It might have been me. I don't answer him. What do you even say? Oh, you know, just the usual. Turns out my fiancé was banging her ex 3 days ago and decided the best time to break the news was mid-vow. Classic Scarlett. Yeah, that'd go over great. Scarlett's family still looks like they're trying to teleport out of existence. Her mom hasn't moved. Her dad might actually be asleep with his eyes open. Victoria won't even look at me. Finally, Jackson grabs my arm. Come on, man. Let's get you out of here. Good call. Because I probably would have stood there all damn day like a tuxedo-wearing statue from the Museum of Humiliation. We exit through the side door, bless Jackson, so I don't have to do the walk of shame down the aisle, while 200 people silently judge my life choices. I get to my truck and just sit. Keys in hand, engine off. Jackson climbs into the passenger seat without saying anything. We sit there, in complete silence. Not even the radio dares to interrupt this funeral of a moment. Because really, what is there to say after something like that? Sorry your fiancé turned out to be a cheating piece of. Thanks for being there when my life imploded in front of 200 people. I drive home and park in my driveway, which suddenly feels way too big for one person and a truckload of shattered expectations. Jackson asks, you want me to come in? I shake my head. Nah, man. I need to be alone for a while. He gives me that look like he's not sure if he should trust me with sharp objects, then nods slowly. All right, I'll check on you later. Then he leans in for the dreaded bro hug. The one where we both pretend this isn't emotionally charged and definitely not awkward. He slaps my back like I'm a malfunctioning printer, then heads to his car. I go inside. It's weird as hell. Like walking into a time capsule of bad decisions. Everything's exactly how I left it this morning when I was excited about getting married. What a joke. There's wedding crap everywhere. The guest list still sitting on the kitchen table, mocking me. Scarlett's backup makeup bag, because apparently, She needs a contingency plan for eyeliner, still on the counter. She forgot to take it to Victoria's place, probably too busy coordinating her exit strategy with her ex. And by the door, the luggage. The fancy luggage we bought for our honeymoon. Still packed. Tag still on. Just sitting there like it's waiting for me to take it on a trip to Heartbreak Island. Then my phone starts buzzing like it owes me money. Texts, calls, notifications. Everyone suddenly wants a front row seat to the disaster that was my wedding day. What happened? Are you okay? Did Scarlett really run off with some dude in a suit? I shut the phone off. Full power down. I don't even want to see another screen unless it's playing cartoons and pretending life is simple again. I collapse on the couch and just sit there, staring at the wall, processing absolutely nothing. Around 6 p.m., there's a knock at the door. I open it, and there's Jackson, looking like he just came back from a crime scene. He's got that brace yourself face. Dude, he says, everyone's been trying to reach you. Your mom's freaking out. Your sister's pissed as hell. People are still at the venue because nobody knows what to do. I blink. Still. Yeah, he says, stepping inside. It's a full-on circus. Turns out, after I left, both families were in full-blown chaos mode trying to figure out how to handle the situation. The venue still had to be paid. The food? Already cooked. The DJ? Still there with his turntables, an awkward Spotify playlist waiting for direction. Some guests left immediately, probably bolted before dessert. Can't blame them. You come for a wedding and get served emotional trauma instead. But a lot of them stuck around. Not out of loyalty, just confusion. No one knew what else to do. Like if they stood still long enough, maybe someone would pass out slices of closure. Scarlett's family? Oh, they were working PR overtime. Full damage control mode. Apologizing left and right like they were the ones who cheated. And Victoria, good OL maid of dishonor, was apparently making the rounds, telling people she was just as blindsided as the rest of us, swearing up and down that she had no idea this was going to happen. Their parents were apparently just trying to get through the day without dying of embarrassment. I can only imagine Scarlett's dad repeatedly whispering, "Just breathe. No lawsuits. Just breathe." But here's the part that really fried my brain. Jackson sits down, looks at me like he's trying to soften a blow, which, by this point, is adorable, and goes, some people were defending Scarlett. I stare at him. Excuse me. Yeah, he says, scratching the back of his neck. There were whispers like, maybe she just got cold feet. Or maybe Grayson seduced her. Or, maybe there was some big misunderstanding. I blink. Slowly. Dramatically. A misunderstanding? Jackson. The guy walked into my wedding, confessed to sleeping with my fiancé 3 days ago, and she ran out with him like it was the final scene of The Notebook. What part of that screams misunderstanding to you? He shrugs, holding up his hands. Hey, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what people were saying. You know how weddings are. 2 drinks in, and everyone's suddenly a relationship expert. Then Jackson drops the atomic bomb. Dude, I live-streamed it. What? I was just filming the ceremony. Like everyone else. Trying to be sentimental. But I caught the whole Grayson scene. Everything. Delete it. I say immediately. Delete that right now. I don't need a visual souvenir of the worst moment of my life. Jackson winces. Too late. It's kinda viral right now. You what? I didn't mean to. I was just so shocked. I live-streamed it without thinking. It was like, normal stuff. Jackson. I know. But, it's kinda blowing up. My head hits the back of the couch. How bad is it? Like, 50,000 views in the last few hours. I just stare at the ceiling like maybe God will send a meteor to put me out of my misery. Great. That's great. My humiliation is trending. I'm going viral for getting dumped at the altar. I can already hear the comments. And sure enough, Jackson nods. Yeah, the comments are brutal. Of course they are. People are calling Scarlett every name in the book, saying you dodged a bullet, making jokes about Grayson's timing. One guy said, "Bro, she left him like a DoorDash order." I cover my face with my hands. And some people? Yeah, some are, like, really feeling sorry for you. I groan. Fantastic. The only thing worse than being laughed at online is being pitted by strangers on the internet. I'm going to be someone's sad little bookmark between cat videos. I look at him. Can you take it down? I tried, he says. But it's already been shared like 1,000 times. Even if I delete my upload, what goes on the internet stays on the internet. Perfect. So not only did my fiancé cheat on me and humiliate me in front of everyone I know, now the rest of the world gets a front row seat, too. People I've never met are going to watch me get my heart ripped out and probably rewatch it with popcorn. Jackson leaves a while later, after awkwardly patting my shoulder like I'm a rescue puppy. Once he's gone, I decide to turn my phone back on. Big mistake. A million missed calls. A billion texts. Voicemails from my mom, my dad, my sister, co-workers, friends. Even people I haven't talked to in years who saw the video and wanted to check on me. I don't listen to any of the voicemails. Don't read a single text. Just shut the phone off again like it's radioactive and crawl into bed. But I don't sleep. Not even close. I just lie there, staring at the ceiling like it personally betrayed me. My brain's doing somersaults, trying to make sense of the garbage fire that was my wedding day. This morning, I woke up thinking I was about to have the best day of my life. You know, marriage, love, eternal happiness, overpriced champagne. The works. Tonight, I'm going to bed single, publicly humiliated, and probably trending under #RunawayBrideFails or something equally uplifting. And the worst part? My brain keeps rewinding to that fight we had 3 days ago. Scarlett came home at 3 a.m. looking like a raccoon who'd lost a fight. I asked her where she'd been, and she acted like I'd accused her of war crimes. She got defensive, said I was controlling. Controlling, for wondering why my fiancé rolled in at the crack of dawn smelling like cologne and regret. And now I know why. She was with Grayson. Of course she was. She was cheating on me 3 days before the wedding and had the nerve to get mad at me for being suspicious. Incredible. I should have trusted my gut. I should have listened to my sister. Valentina had her spidey senses tingling since day one. I, however, decided to ignore all the red flags like they were background decor. No, not me. I was too busy making excuses for Scarlett and her mysterious late-night girl outings. But hey, it's too late now. The damage is done. The bouquet's been dropped. The ex has been reclaimed. Around 5 a.m., I officially give up pretending I might fall asleep. I get up, make some coffee, because why not pair heartbreak with caffeine, and sit at my kitchen table. The table looks like a crime scene. Guest list, vendor receipts, those stupid little wedding favors Scarlett insisted we needed. 97 tiny jars of artisanal honey with mint to be printed on the label. For $100. Gone. For honey. I don't even like honey. And that's when it hits me. I need to start making some calls. We were supposed to fly to Bali this afternoon. 2 weeks in paradise at some bougie, 5-star resort with infinity pools and decorative towels shaped like swans. All paid for. All non-refundable. Well, mostly non-refundable. First call, the airline. I spend 20 solid minutes on hold listening to something that sounded like a saxophone playing inside a blender. Finally, a customer service rep picks up. Hello. Thank you for calling Global Airways. How can I assist you today? I sigh. Hi. I need to cancel a flight. Honeymoon plans fell through. Oh no. I'm so sorry, she says, voice full of that overly cheerful empathy customer service folks are trained to use in crisis. Yeah. Well, she ran off with her ex at the altar. Silence. Then, wow. That's highly unusual. Tell me about it. She actually ends up being pretty cool. Waived some of the change fees. Said the situation was unique enough to qualify for exceptions. Translation, they don't have a drop-down menu for fiancé left with ex mid-ceremony. Still cost me about $3,000 in penalties, but honestly, money wasn't even in my top 5 problems right now. Next up, the hotel in Bali. That call was a little trickier. The guy who picks up sounds like he's 6 time zones ahead of me and just woke up in the middle of a nap. His English is hanging on by a thread, and mine isn't exactly global operations ready before 6 a.m. So I have to explain. 3 separate times, using progressively slower words and increasingly tragic tones, why I need to cancel my honeymoon suite reservation. Eventually, I just told the hotel guy it was a family emergency and left it at that. Easier than trying to pantomime Runaway Bride across an international phone line. By the time I was done canceling everything, it was around 8 a.m. I'd officially lost about $8,000. Just poof. Gone. Like Scarlett's integrity. $8,000 down the drain because my fiancé decided that cheating on me wasn't spicy enough. It had to be publicly announced, at the altar, in front of both our families and a priest. But honestly, it wasn't even the money that pissed me off the most. It was the principle, the nerve of it all, the effort I put in, the fact that I'd actually practiced saying, I do, in the mirror like a moron, while she was off reliving her college days with Captain Smolderpants. Then I remembered the gifts. People have been generous. Like we're starting a new life together. Here's a blender that costs more than my rent generous. Kitchen appliances. Fancy bedding sets. Picture frames with inspirational quotes about love that now felt like a personal attack. Crystal serving dishes for all the fancy dinner parties we were definitely never going to host. There was no wedding. No marriage. So it felt wrong to keep any of it. Plus, I didn't need daily reminders of the great relationship implosion of 2025 staring me in the face every time I walked into the kitchen. So, I spent the rest of the morning loading up my truck with every shiny, monogrammed, awkwardly gift-wrapped piece of pity now posing as decor. And because I didn't feel like explaining the entire saga to every person on my return tour, I printed out a note. Real simple. Since the bride ran away with her ex, figured you'd want this back. Thanks for understanding. Sebastian. By noon, I'd returned about half the gifts. I'm pretty sure Mrs. Donnelly cried when I handed her back the Vitamix. Not because she was sad for me, because she really didn't want that thing back. The rest of the gifts came from people who lived too far away to visit without a packed lunch and a backup GPS, so I boxed those up for mailing. Add wedding gift logistics coordinator to my resume. When my truck was finally empty, I felt a little better. At least I was doing something, instead of sitting around wallowing in my own failure like a sad Hallmark movie side character. Then it hit me, Scarlett's car. She'd been driving my old BMW for the last year while I enjoyed the shiny new truck. The title was still in my name, because of course it was. She'd said she'd handle the paperwork, and like everything else she promised, that never happened. Lucky me. I drove the BMW down to the used car lot where I bought the truck. The sales guy saw me pulling in and waved like we were old pals. Hey, Sebastian, how was the wedding? I stared at him for a second. Didn't happen. Long story. You want to buy this car back? He blinked. The way people blink when they realize they've stepped directly into emotional quicksand. Sure. You okay, man? Nope. To his credit, he didn't push. We worked out a deal, and I walked away with 15 grand in cash. Not bad. Figured I'd need it to help cover all the lovely non-refundable expenses left behind by Hurricane Scarlett. Got back home around 2 p.m., and that's when the real work began. Scarlett had been living in my house for 2 years and had managed to spread her stuff across every available surface like emotional glitter. Took me most of the afternoon to pack it all up. 2 full truck bed loads, boxes, garbage bags, mystery makeup drawers, and enough scented candles to host a seance. The worst part? The photos. They were everywhere. On shelves, walls, nightstands. Just smiling versions of a woman who'd apparently been auditioning for the role of betrayer-in-chief the whole time. So down they came, one by one. All her pictures came down off the walls. Her books went into boxes. Every last hardcover and paperback, including the ones she bought just to stage the bookshelf. Even packed up the stupid decorative pillows she insisted we needed for the couch. The ones with sequins that change color when you swipe them like they're part pillow, part disco ball. Gone. By 6 p.m., everything was loaded up. My truck looked like a mobile thrift store, and I was more than ready to make my final delivery. I drove over to her sister Victoria's house. Nobody was home. Perfect. I wasn't in the mood for apologies, awkward hugs, or she just got scared speeches. I wanted this drop-off to be quick and drama-free. So I unloaded everything onto the front doorstep. 20 boxes and bags of Scarlett's greatest hits. Hair tools, tote bags, mismatched mugs, 3 yoga mats for someone who never did yoga, and a collection of bath products that could open a small-day spa. I slapped a note on top of the pile. Your sister's belongings. Sebastian. Short. Clinical. No PS. No threats. No tear-stained letters. I wasn't writing a soap opera. Got home, threw my keys on the counter, and checked my phone. Big mistake. It had been buzzing nonstop all day like it owed someone money. I turned it on and got hit with the digital equivalent of a riot. 30 missed calls. Over 100 text messages. Everyone from my parents to that one guy I sat next to in freshman orientation wanted to know if I was okay. Then came the cherry on top, a text from Jackson. Dude, you need to see this. The video has 2 million views. I blinked at the screen. 2 million. 2 million views. In less than 24 hours, my wedding meltdown had become the internet's favorite new drama. I opened TikTok, and boom, there it was. Jackson's video, front and center, with a title like, When the Ex Crashes the Wedding, and the Bride Runs. Thousands of comments. Hundreds of thousands of likes. Still climbing like it had dreams of becoming a Netflix original. The comments were unhinged. People were calling Scarlett every name in the book. Stuff I didn't even know you could legally type. Jokes about Grayson's timing. Like he really RSVP'd for drama. Folks were even dropping their own breakup horror stories, turning my tragedy into a group therapy session. And the memes. Oh God, the memes. There was one where they set Grayson's aisle walk to dramatic action movie music, slow-mo, explosions, the whole deal. Another one had someone dubbing in Darth Vader's theme. I should have been furious, but I kind of admired the creativity. But here's the weird part. Mixed in with the jokes and roasts, people were being supportive, like, genuinely kind. Comments like, this guy handled it like a champ. You deserve way better. If you're ever in my city, let me buy you dinner. And those weren't from bots. Some of them had profile pictures and everything. My personal nightmare had turned into internet entertainment. But for some reason, that made me feel a little better. At least the whole world could see how absolutely deranged this situation was. I wasn't overreacting. I wasn't crazy. I started reading through more comments. Couldn't help it. It was like digital validation therapy. And that's when it really hit me. This wasn't going to blow over. This video was going to follow Scarlett around forever. Every job interview, every date, every time she tried to start over somewhere, this was going to be there. And honestly, I was okay with that. Scarlett made her choice in front of 200 people, plus one ex-boyfriend and a very startled priest. And now the entire world knew about it. Actions have consequences, babe. Maybe next time she'd think twice before cheating on someone and turning a wedding into an episode of Jerry Springer, Bridal Edition. That night, I actually slept pretty well for the first time in weeks. Like, full REM cycle, no dreams kind of sleep. I didn't even wake up to cry dramatically into a pillow, which felt like personal growth. Yeah, my wedding was a disaster and my relationship was over. But at least I wasn't legally bound to someone who thought, I do, was optional if your ex walked in wearing a decent suit. And thanks to the power of Wi-Fi and public humiliation, everyone now knew exactly what kind of person Scarlett really was. Tomorrow, I'd figure out the rest of my life. But tonight, I was just going to sit on my couch, eat leftover wedding cake out of the box, and watch karma do its thing in glorious HD. The next few days were absolutely insane. Jackson wasn't exaggerating. The video really was everywhere. By day 3, it had racked up over 8 million views on TikTok alone. People were posting reaction videos, dramatic reenactments. Even one guy who dressed up as Scarlett and did a dramatic voiceover monologue like it was a Shakespearean tragedy. Runaway Bride was trending for almost a full week. I checked Twitter, and there I was, sandwiched between World Cup memes and Taylor Swift theories. Truly the digital trifecta. I couldn't go anywhere without someone recognizing me. Went to grab coffee Monday morning, and the barista did a double-take mid-latte. She goes, "Oh my God, you're the guy from the wedding video." I froze, halfway reaching for my wallet. "Yeah, that's me. I'm so sorry that happened to you," she said, her eyes all soft like I'd just lost a puppy. Then she handed me my drink and refused to let me pay. "This one's on the house. Actually, anytime you come in, it's on the house." Weird feeling, having strangers feel sorry for you. Like, I half expected a camera crew to pop out and yell, "You just got pranked." But hey, I wasn't going to turn down free coffee. Tragedy tasted better with whipped cream. But the craziest part? People started sending me money. I'm not kidding. Random strangers on Venmo and PayPal started hitting me with $20 here, $50 there. Messages like, "For the honeymoon you deserved. Treat yourself, king." She didn't deserve your Costco tier loyalty. At first, I felt weird taking money from strangers on the internet. It felt like I should at least be crying on live stream or selling merch to earn it. But then I remembered, I was out $8,000 on the honeymoon and probably another $5 on wedding stuff I couldn't get refunded. So yeah, I am a jerk. I kept the money. By the end of the first week, I'd racked up nearly $2,000 in petty cash. I started calling it my public divorce dividend. And not going to lie, that felt pretty good. Meanwhile, Scarlett's life was unraveling like a cheap party streamer. I didn't hear it directly from her, God forbid, but my sister Valentina was keeping me updated. She was apparently getting the inside scoop from a few mutual friends still brave enough to stay in Scarlett's orbit. Turns out Scarlett was hiding out at Victoria's house, too embarrassed to show her face anywhere. Can't say I blame her. The comments on that video were brutal as hell. Then on Wednesday, my phone rings. It's Victoria. I stared at the screen for a full minute debating whether to answer or chuck it into the sink and claim emotional water damage. But curiosity won. I figured if she was calling me midweek, something juicy had to be going down. I pick up. "Hey," I say, bracing for whatever flavor of awkward this was going to be. "Sebastian," she starts immediately. "I'm so sorry about what happened. I had no idea Scarlett was," she pauses. "I mean, if I'd known about Grayson, I would have said something." I almost laughed. Like, what was she going to say? "Hey, just a heads up, your bride's planning a grand betrayal during the vows. It's not your fault, Victoria," I told her. "Your sister made her own choices. Bold, public, flaming train wreck style choices." Then she drops the hammer. "She got fired today." I blinked. "Wait, what?" "Yeah, her boss saw the video. Said she was conducting herself in a way that's detrimental to the company image." That made me sit back in my chair. Real estate's all about reputation. You can't be out here going viral for bolting from the altar and expect people to still trust you with a $500,000 home listing. Turns out nobody wants to buy a house from the runaway bride. Victoria kept trying to talk. I could tell she was fishing for something. Sympathy? Forgiveness? Maybe hoping I'd say I still cared and wanted to work things out? I don't know. But after a few polite nods and one too many awkward silences, I told her I had to go and hung up. I actually felt a little bad for Victoria. She'd always been decent to me, and now she was left holding the proverbial dumpster fire while Scarlett hid from civilization. But hey, family's family. You deal with the tornado. Even if it wasn't your fault, it tore through your front yard. But the hits just kept coming. Thursday night, Suddy called me, absolutely buzzing. Dude, this is getting crazy, he said. Mom ran into Scarlett's mom at the grocery store today. That already sounded like the start of a sitcom episode. He went on. She said their whole family's getting harassed. People keep recognizing them from the video and asking about it. What kind of harassment? I asked. Like, church on Sunday? People were whispering and staring. Her mom works at the bank downtown. Customers keep coming in and asking her about the wedding video. Even her dad's catching heat at work. I sighed. That actually did make me feel kind of bad. Scarlett's parents were always nice to me. Her mom made great peach cobbler, and her dad helped me fix my garbage disposal once. They didn't deserve to be dragged through this mess just because their daughter thought monogamy was a suggestion, not a rule. But then again, they did raise the woman who thought cheating 3 days before her wedding was a quirky lifestyle choice. So maybe they weren't completely innocent. And then came Friday night. Jackson called, and I barely got a hello in before he launched into a full-on laughing fit. Dude, he wheezed, you're not gonna believe this. I braced myself. What now? Grayson dumped her. I blinked. Already. Yup. My cousin knows this girl who works with someone who knows Grayson's roommate, or whatever. You know, classic small world nonsense. Apparently, once the video went viral and he started getting recognized too, he freaked. I was already smiling. Freak. Jackson was practically giggling. Yeah, said Scarlett was too much drama. Told her he just wanted to mess with you and wasn't looking for anything serious. And there it was. Chef's kiss. So not only did Scarlett completely blow up her life, torch her career, humiliate her family, and become a walking meme for a guy in a fitted blazer with a vendetta, but he was just using her to get back at me for some reason. I couldn't even remember ever doing anything to Grayson. We barely knew each other when Scarlett and I started dating. He was just a name from her college years, a photo in some album I once saw where everyone looked like they were deep into their red Solo Cup era. I don't know. Maybe he hated me because I had better hair. Or maybe his fragile ego just couldn't handle that Scarlett chose me over him. Until she didn't. Either way, he stirred up a hurricane, wrecked the beach, and then ghosted the whole vacation. Class act. So now Scarlett was unemployed, single, and living with her sister because, wait for it, she couldn't even go back to her parents' house. Why? You ask. Because her grandparents, you know, the super religious ones with framed portraits of Jesus and Ronald Reagan in the hallway, threatened to disown the entire family if they let her move back in. Yeah, that level of scandal. Apparently, what she did wasn't just messy, it was unforgivable. Like Old Testament unforgivable. Sodom and Gomorrah vibes. There was talk of shaming the bloodline and spitting on the sanctity of marriage. The kind of stuff that usually ends in someone getting cut out of the will and scrubbed from family photos. That night, I was back in my usual nighttime routine, scrolling through the video comments like it was bedtime reading. Most people were still dragging Scarlett through the mud like a Home Depot rug sample, but some folks were really analyzing the situation like they were doing a PhD on relationship red flags. One comment stuck out. This girl really thought she could have her cake and eat it too. Wanted the security of the nice guy, but the excitement of the bad boy. Now she's got neither. Chef's kiss. That one hit harder than the espresso shot I definitely shouldn't have had at 9 p.m. Because yeah, that's exactly what it was. Scarlett wanted to marry me for the whole stable provider, future dad, white picket fence package, but still sneak off for a late-night special with Grayson the drama king. And when it came time to choose, she picked chaos. Literally. Now she was learning the hard way that Grayson didn't want forever. He wanted a one-act play, not a whole marriage saga. The man was auditioning for a scene, not signing a contract. Another comment said, imagine being so selfish that you'd rather humiliate someone at their own wedding than just break up with them privately beforehand. And that's what really got to me. If she wanted to be with Grayson, fine. Break up with me. Call off the wedding. Return the damn blender we got from my Aunt Sue. But no, she let me pay for everything. She let us invite 200 people, fly in relatives, order flowers, book a DJ, and then she made it a public spectacle. She made me the main character in a tragic viral love story I didn't audition for. But somehow, reading all those comments from total strangers who got it, who understood how royally messed up it all was, that helped. I didn't feel crazy or dramatic. I felt seen, like my pain had gone global, and the world agreed. What Scarlett did was genuinely awful. Monday morning rolled around, and for the first time in months, I walked into work feeling like a real person again. Not a human punchline. Not a heartbroken idiot. Just Sebastian, construction manager. Still got my house. Still got my job. Still got my hairline. My boss, cool guy, wears cargo pants unironically, asked how I was doing. I said, honestly, better every day. He nodded. Glad to hear it. That promotion opportunity we talked about is coming up soon. I'd love to see you throw your name in. And just like that, I knew what I had to focus on. Not Scarlett. Not Grayson. Not the comment section of TikTok. But me. My career. My future. Because I wasn't the victim in this story anymore. I was the guy who dodged a damn missile and walked away stronger. Scarlett? She was just another cautionary tale. A walking PSA about what happens when you treat people like stepping stones and think the fallout won't land on you. About a month after the wedding disaster, things were finally settling down. Work was solid. I had my routine back. My bank account was looking healthier than ever, mostly because I wasn't bleeding money on Scarlett's endless Amazon orders and $14 oat milk lavender lattes anymore. For the first time in years, I could see my paycheck and not immediately think, what's going to vanish next? And sleep? Man, I was sleeping like a baby. Not a colicky baby. A dead-to-the-world, mouth-wide-open baby. Turns out, not having to tiptoe around mood swings and passive-aggressive comments does wonders for your REM cycle. Go figure. All those months of wedding planning, balancing her Pinterest board meltdowns with real-life responsibilities, I didn't even realize how much it drained me until I wasn't in the middle of it anymore. Now I could come home, toss on whatever show I wanted, no judgment, no eye rolls when I queued up a boring documentary, and eat whatever I felt like. Pizza? Done. Breakfast for dinner? Absolutely. No more discussions about clean eating or intentional meal prep. Even my family had settled down. My mom finally stopped asking, "Are you really okay?" in that voice that made me feel like I was one sniffle away from a full-on breakdown. My dad went back to offering practical advice, stuff like investing tips and truck maintenance, not trying to decode emotional trauma like some kind of blue-collar Dr. Phil. And Valentina? Oh, Valentina was living her best I told you so life. I gotta be honest, she said over tacos one afternoon, wiping hot sauce off her thumb. I never thought she was right for you. Too high maintenance. Always making everything about her. You're way better off. I raised an eyebrow. Why didn't you say anything? She snorted. Would you have listened? You were in love, dude. When guys are in love, they don't want to hear that their girlfriend sucks. Touché. She wasn't wrong. I'd been in full-on love googles mode. Every time someone hinted at Scarlett being, well, difficult, I'd gone full defense attorney. She's just passionate. She's under a lot of stress. You don't know her like I do. Yeah, turns out they did. Meanwhile, I kept hearing little updates about Scarlett through the grapevine. None of it screamed happy ending. Then about 6 weeks post-wedding fiasco, Victoria called again. My immediate thought, do I really need to take this? But curiosity is a persistent little gremlin, so I answered. Hey, I said cautiously, already bracing for drama. She's really struggling, Victoria said without preamble. Sebastian, she can't find a job anywhere. That video comes up every time someone Googles her name. Yikes. She's been applying everywhere. Restaurants, retail, anything that'll take her. That sucks, I said, with the emotional investment of someone commenting on a light drizzle. I tried to sound sympathetic, but let's be honest, I wasn't feeling it. She's been asking about you, Victoria continued. Wants to know if you're seeing anyone. If you ever think about her. Tell her I'm doing great, and I hope she figures her life out. Victoria hesitated. Would you ever consider talking to her? Maybe getting some closure? I laughed. We got closure at the altar, Victoria. She made her choice pretty clear. What did she want me to do? Set up a group therapy session. Text her inspirational quotes? Scarlett created this mess. She could deal with it. Couple weeks later, Victoria called again with another update. Because of course she did. At this point, I figured she should start charging me a subscription fee for the Scarlett Implosion newsletter. So, I ran into someone, she began. Classic Victoria intro. They knew someone who'd seen Scarlett working out by the mall. She's a hostess now. At that place with the knockoff Cajun food and the sticky floors? Minimum wage. Minimum wage. From luxury real estate to wiping laminated menus and seating screaming toddlers next to birthday balloons. That fall from grace wasn't just steep, it was Olympic ski jump level. She's still living with me, Victoria added, sounding more like a hostage than a supportive sister. Can't afford her own place. I could practically hear the eye twitch through the phone. Oh, and the cherry on top? Her entire friend group ghosted her. Poof. Gone. Victoria spelled it out for me like I hadn't already guessed. Nobody wants to be associated with someone who's internet famous for being terrible. Most of her friends were shallow anyway. Instagram models without the modeling part. Figures. As soon as Scarlett went from aspirational to national punchline, they vanished like free samples at Costco. And the Grayson saga? Even more pathetic. Apparently, he moved to another state, Victoria said. Just disappeared. I snorted. So he pulled the fire alarm and left the building. Exactly. It was almost impressive, really. Scarlett blew up her entire life for a guy who treated her like a prank and then ghosted the moment things got real. Like the secondhand embarrassment was so strong, he had to change zip codes. By the time the 2-month mark rolled around, I was honestly feeling great. Lighter. Like someone had taken a 130-pound emotionally manipulative backpack off my shoulders. Jackson and I were chilling at a sports bar, watching the game and working on a plate of wings that could have used 30% more sauce and 100% less celery, when he said something that stuck with me. "You know what's crazy?" he asked, wiping his fingers. "If Scarlett hadn't pulled that stunt, you'd be married to her right now. Probably miserable, dealing with her every day." I stared into my beer like it had just revealed the secrets of the universe. That night, lying in bed, I kept thinking about what Jackson said. Yeah, getting left at the altar sucked. Going viral? Definitely not on my bingo card. But what if Scarlett had actually gone through with it? What if we'd said the vows, signed the papers, posted the cringy wedding photos with matching hashtags? I would have been stuck with her. Stuck in a relationship with someone who cheated on me 3 days before our wedding and had the gall to make me feel like the bad guy when I asked about it. I'd probably be in therapy, or jail, or both. Divorce would have been messy, expensive, and with our luck, probably televised. And God forbid we'd had kids. Then it would have been Scarlett every other weekend for the rest of my natural life, probably teaching my child how to gaslight before they could walk. But that didn't happen. Instead, I found out exactly who she was, before it was too late. Before lawyers. Before joint taxes. Before matching bathrobes. Now I was free. Free to meet someone who actually respected me. Someone who didn't treat love like a marketing campaign or drama like a hobby. The universe might have served it with a side of public humiliation, but it did me a solid that day. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you turns out to be the best thing in disguise. And sometimes people do you the biggest favor of your life by showing you their true colors before you make a permanent mistake. I was actually grateful to Scarlett now. Not grateful for the humiliation or the wasted time and money. No. Let's be clear. There's not enough enlightenment on earth to make me feel good about dropping $8,000 for a bouquet toss that never happened. But I was grateful she saved me from a lifetime sentence with someone who'd do something like that. Better to find out at the altar than 5 years deep with kids, a mortgage, and a dog named after a wine she picked out. 3 weeks later, I was having probably the best Saturday morning I'd had in years. I was halfway through my second cup of coffee, watching a documentary about competitive marble racing because yes, my life had become that peaceful, when I heard a car door slam in the driveway. I frowned. No one was supposed to be coming by. I peeked out the window, saw a beat-up Honda Civic parked behind my truck. Definitely not from the family fleet of Range Rovers her crowd used to flex. Didn't recognize the car, but when the driver got out, my stomach dropped. Scarlett. And not the Scarlett I remembered. The blowout hair, the designer bag, the heels like she was about to be on a reality show. No. This Scarlett looked like she'd just crawled out of a sad indie film. Hair a mess, face puffy like she'd lost a slap fight with her own emotions, and wearing sweatpants that looked like they'd been through a breakup themselves. Honestly, if she hadn't destroyed my life in front of 200 people and 8 million viewers, I might have felt bad. Might have. Part of me wanted to back away slowly and just pretend I wasn't home. Let her talk to the doorbell camera and keep it moving. But morbid curiosity's a hell of a thing. I went around to the front, and there she was, standing at my door, finger hovering like it weighed 10 pounds. When she saw me, she gasped and burst into tears immediately, like we were filming the emotional climax of some low-budget Netflix drama. "Sebastian," she sobbed. "Thank God. I wasn't sure you'd be home." "Yeah, and I wasn't sure I'd ever see you again outside of meme compilations. Life's full of surprises. What do you want, Scarlett?" She stepped toward me like we were about to embrace or something. I took a step back. Nope, not today. No chance she was going to mistake this for a Nicholas Sparks ending. "Can we talk, please?" she sniffled. "Just for a few minutes." I almost said no. Honestly, I should have. But some petty little devil on my shoulder really wanted to hear what Olympic-level BS she'd cooked up this time. And hey, better to rip the Band-Aid now than wonder if she'd keep popping up like a seasonal rash. "You've got 5 minutes," I said. "Talk." She nodded, took this dramatic breath like she was about to audition for a tragic monologue, and launched right into it. She made the biggest mistake of her life. She panicked. She didn't know what she was thinking. Grayson messed with her head, made her question everything. She didn't mean to hurt me. She was confused. It all happened so fast. She was under a lot of pressure. She didn't think clearly. She felt trapped. Basically, she pulled out the full Netflix special edition of It Wasn't Really My Fault. Classic manipulation tactics. Blame everyone else. Play the victim. Classic move. She stood there wiping her tears with the sleeve of her oversized t-shirt like we were in some Hallmark redemption arc. "He told me you were just using me for free sex," she said, voice all shaky, "and that you'd get bored after we were married. Said I deserved someone who was more exciting, more passionate. I blinked. So you decided to test drive him 3 days before the wedding? Her face turned the color of a fire hydrant. That wasn't supposed to happen. We were just talking, and things got carried away. Oh sure, just talking. Happens all the time. You're catching up, reminiscing about college, and whoops. Now you're horizontal in a hotel room at 2 a.m. totally innocent. I immediately regretted it, she added. But then he showed up at the church, and I panicked. I stared at her. You panicked? I repeated. Scarlett, you ran away with him. In front of 200 people. That's not panic. That's choreography. She started crying harder. Like, full-blown cartoon sobs. I half expected her to yell, "Why God, why?" and collapse onto my lawn. I realized right away that I made a mistake, she sniffled. Grayson didn't want a relationship. He just wanted to mess with you. He dumped me 2 weeks later and said the whole thing was just to prove a point. My eyebrow twitched. What point? I don't know, she said, voice cracking again. Something about you thinking you were better than him in college, or whatever. I never understood it. Fantastic. I got left at the altar over some petty college rivalry I didn't even know existed. I mean, maybe I was better than him. I had better grades, a better truck, fewer neck tattoos, but still. So now she starts going into this whole speech, straight from the Please Take Me Back handbook. How she's learned from it. How she knows who she really loves now. How that's what truly matters. She reached out to grab my hands, all soft and trembling like we were about to slow dance in a field of daisies. I pulled away like her touch was going to give me a rash. What really matters, I told her, is that you're unemployed, living with your sister, and now that your life's in shambles, you want to come crawling back to the stable guy who had his shit together the whole time. That hit a nerve. She got defensive real fast. That's not why I'm here, she said. I realized you were the best thing that ever happened to me, and I threw it away for nothing. You're damn right you threw it away, I said. And not just for nothing. You threw it away in the most humiliating way possible. That's when she really lost it. Like, full-on breakdown. Ugly sobbing sounds. The kind that make dogs bark 2 blocks over. I was pretty sure at least one neighbor had their phone out recording, and honestly, good. Let the sequel go viral. She was begging now. Please, Sebastian, give me another chance. I'll do anything. I'll get a job. I'll pay you back for the wedding. I'll go to therapy, whatever you want. We can start over. We can go somewhere else. Somewhere no one knows about the video. And there it was. The final card in her hand. She didn't want to fix things. She didn't want to face what she did. She wanted to run. Run away from the consequences, from the embarrassment, from the dumpster fire she lit with her own damn hands. Start fresh somewhere else. Like none of this ever happened. You think this is about the video? I asked, arms crossed, staring at her like she'd just told me the earth was flat. You think I'm embarrassed about what happened? She blinked, caught off guard. Well, aren't you? I laughed. Not a chuckle. A full, bitter, straight from the depths laugh. The only person who should be embarrassed is you. Everyone who watched that video saw exactly what kind of person you are. They saw me get screwed over by someone I trusted, and they felt sorry for me. You're the one who looks like trash. That landed like a punch to the gut. She stopped crying for a second and just stared at me like I'd slapped her with the truth. Which, to be fair, I had. Finally, she croaked out. I'm desperate, okay? I have nowhere else to go. My family won't talk to me. My friends all dropped me. I can't get a decent job because that video follows me everywhere. You're the only person who might give me a second chance. And there it was. The truth in all its crusty, mascara-smudged glory. No, I said calmly. You don't want me back because you love me. You want me back because I'm your only option. That's not true. She snapped. Yes, it is, I said, shrugging. If Grayson wanted a relationship with you, if you could get your old job back, if your family forgave you, would you even be standing here right now? She opened her mouth, then closed it. No answer. Which, ironically, was the most honest response she'd given me in years. I turned around and started walking back to the house. She called after me, her voice cracking like a bad radio signal. I'll wait for you to change your mind, Sebastian. I know you still care about me. Yeah, well, I care about pizza too, but I don't marry it. I got to the front door and turned around one last time. She was standing by her rust bucket Civic, looking like a human cautionary tale. Scarlett, I called. She looked up. Yeah. Next time you want to test if someone's right for you, do it before the wedding, not at the altar. And with that, I went inside and shut the door behind me. Boom. Curtain closed. The final chapter of the Scarlett saga. She tried every manipulation tactic in the book. Guilt, desperation, promises to change, playing the victim like she was auditioning for a soap opera. But I wasn't that guy anymore. Not the fool who ignored red flags and thought love meant fixing someone. Scarlett taught me a valuable lesson. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. I believed her, and I acted accordingly. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.